In this video, we discuss two new bills introduced in the United States Congress that aim to revoke China's permanent normal trade relations status. The bills were introduced in both the House of Representatives and the Senate. John Mulnar, a Republican from Michigan, and Tom Suozzi, a Democrat from New York, are behind the House bill named the Restoring Trade Fairness Act. In the Senate, the bill was introduced by Senators Jim Banks, Tom Cotton, and Josh Hawley, all Republicans. The proposed legislation seeks to suspend normal trade relations with China. This would lead to increased tariff rates on goods imported from China. Normal trade relations status, previously known as Most Favored Nation status, allows countries to export goods to the United States at lower tariffs. Currently, only 4 countries do not have this status: Belarus, Cuba, North Korea, and Russia. Countries with normal trade relations status face tariffs ranging from 4.4% to 9.4% for clothing. In contrast, countries without this status face tariffs as high as 60 to 90%. For toys, tariffs could rise from 0 to between 30 and 90%. Electrical goods would see tariffs increase from 2.5% to 35%. The new bill proposes additional tariffs on China that exceed those outlined in the harmonized tariff schedule. Specifically, it would impose a minimum 35% tariff on non-strategic goods and a minimum 100% tariff on strategic goods. These increases would be implemented gradually over 5 years. Furthermore, the bill aims to eliminate the de minimis treatment for China, which currently exempts imports valued below $800 from customs duties. This change could impact Chinese e-commerce platforms like Shein and Temu. The legislation marks that since China joined the World Trade Organization, the United States has lost numerous factories and millions of manufacturing jobs. It also states that continued normal trade relations with China pose a threat to national security. The bill expresses concerns about the negative impact on the United States' manufacturing base and job market, attributing these losses to the Chinese Communist Party's exploitation of American markets. Mulnar stated that the current economic relationship with China needs to be reset. He pointed out a bipartisan consensus among lawmakers regarding the need to reassess this relationship. In 2001, Congress granted China permanent normal trade relations status after its entry into the World Trade Organization. Before that, China had to secure annual waivers to maintain free trade access to the US market. The push to end China's permanent normal trade status has gained momentum amid rising tensions between the two nations. The ongoing trade war that began in 2018 has intensified calls for legislative action. The House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party noted that tariff measures implemented over the past 3 presidential administrations have effectively revoked China's PNTR status. Previous attempts to introduce similar bills in 2023 and 2024 did not succeed as they failed to progress out of committee. Historically, many anti-China legislative efforts have garnered attention but ultimately stalled. However, supporters of the current bills are optimistic due to the Republican majority in Congress and the new presidency of Donald Trump, who has shown a preference for tariffs. Trump had previously threatened broad tariff increases on Chinese exports. Revoking China's permanent normal trade relations status would not only fulfill this objective but also formalize it into law, complicating future efforts to reduce tariffs. Nonetheless, it remains uncertain how Trump will respond to the bill, as his administration's trade policy called for an assessment of proposals regarding China's trade status without explicitly recommending a revocation. In this way, the introduction of these bills marks development in U.S. China trade relations. If passed, they could lead to substantial changes in tariffs and the overall economic landscape between the two nations.